In the previous video, we created a new assignment, and then we said the grading method would be rubric. Now when I save the assignment, it automatically pops up this window, so let's talk about how to define our rubric. We've got two options here: define a new grading rubric from scratch or create a grading form from a template. Once we have all this basic work done, you should be able to rely on the templates that we've made, but in order to share those with you, it requires special permissions from the client services department. So let's talk about how to make one from scratch in case the client services end doesn't come through in time. So I'll click here. I have an opportunity to name my rubric, so to keep things simple we can just name them participation and attendance. And then we can also talk about why a particular grade is given. So here you can write out in long form, I give grades for these reasons. So this could be a good place for us to split off. For example, if you're teaching about color theory and paint and pixels, for example, like Jose is doing, you might have different kinds of feedback or different classifications than I might in the Rhinoceros platform or Betsy might in vacuum forming. So you have an option to fill in as much as you want here. Now the real meat and potatoes is where the rubric gets into criteria. So you can see here, click to add criterion, and then by default you have 3 levels that are not defined except for by their point value. So in order to make this rubric work, we want to have a holistic aspect and we want to have a point value aspect. So let's start with the holistic aspect. I might say, for example, how well you've done on research, and we'll be in touch with everybody to talk about all the categories that we want to share in common. We also talked about changing this the level definitions, but for right now I'm just going to use the loaded terms of bad, neutral, and good just for demo purposes. Okay, now because this is going to be a holistic aspect, I actually want to associate all 3 of these categories with 0 points, because I don't want to have to worry about giving that sort of feedback and it equaling some kind of funky mathematical grade. I'll click here to say add level. Oh, I'm sorry, add level would be another point value level, so I can just delete that guy. Because what I want to do is add criterion. It's this block right here. Alright, now I might say percentage or math grade or whatever. And then I can add in a level and say 100 points or 100% is equal to 100 points. So up above, this is sort of the descriptor they're going to get, and down below, this is the numerical value they're going to get. Okay, so maybe in order to keep myself from going crazy, I'll just do these every 5 points, and so down the line. And I'm not going to make you watch the whole thing, but naturally you'd probably want to go about all the way down to 50, and then maybe you could just jump to 0 points after that. Now down here we have some other options that are up to you. Let's see, we want the students to be able to preview their material. We don't necessarily need to see, for example, text remarks on each criterion and so forth. So these you can check and uncheck depending on your preferences. If you want, you can save this as a draft, but for right now I'm going to save the rubric and make it ready. Okay, so I'll do one more video that talks about how you use the rubric to grade, so I'll catch you then.